Hi, I'm Debbie Chronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm glad you're joining me today. You can find me at stampwithdeb.com, and I'm on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 3 o'clock and Pacific Time. And I'm so happy you're here with me today. Let's get started. I have a really fun project for you today.
Show you how I made this cute little, it's almost like a box card. And it's made with Blessings from Home. And the dies, I used this die. I don't think I used any of the others. And I used one of the stamps, the flower stamps out of it. And then I used Happy and Heartfelt. And so I love this. I think they're just fun greetings. I've used the I love you before, and today I'm going to use the thank you. And I used the Blessings from Home Designer Series paper. So I started out with a piece of fresh freesia, and I cut this at 9.5 by 4.25. And then it's been scored, and I'm not going to score that on camera, but I'll give you the measurements. It's been scored at 1/2, 1.25, 2 3/4. No, I skipped one. 1/2, 1.25, 2, and 2 3/4. And then you can either flip it around and do the same thing on this end, or you can continue on and score it at 6 3/4, 7.5, 8.25, and 9 inches. So you'll end up with just a little edge on each of these edges, just a small, like a 1/2 inch on each edge. And so I'm going to grab my bone folder here and just burnish all of these, and they're all going to go in towards the center. And I want to do that before I do some die cutting because I want to know where that center fold is. Whoops. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. And I'm going to use, if I can do it on top of that without losing it on the floor. I'm going to use the layering diorama dies, and I'm going to use these two, okay, not the three largest, but the two that are in between. And that's why I tagged them with my sticky notes so that I would know which ones to grab. Okay, so then I am going to, this is tricky. Okay, so I have two dies, and one is a little bit larger than the other one. Let's put them together. They're the same shape. And so one is larger than the other one. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to pull that pad out from underneath. I'm afraid I'm going to lose this machine on the floor. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to place my fresh freesia, which is the color of this designer series paper, and I have cut, this paper, cardstock, I have cut a piece of designer series paper that is 3 3/4 by 4. So I know the 4-inch edge is the part that's going to go up and down, because this is 4.25. That leaves me just that little bit of a margin around the edges. And I am going to cut with my smallest die first. When I do, I want to be sure, because my next die is larger, and I want to be sure that I do this so I have enough room that I'm not going to go off my paper when I cut it. So just using one, I have layered this with 1, 2, and 2 3s, okay? And so we're just going to run that through. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to take my larger die, so we'll just save those, we can use those somewhere later. Let's slide this back through, and I'm going to take my larger die and line it up around the edge of that. So I'm going to trim this off. That's basically what I'm going to do. So you want to cut, I want the hole, let me show you the hole. So you see how my hole has an edge? I want that edge. So by cutting the two smaller ones first, then I will get that. And And then I'm going to cut this one using the same, a number 1 and number 2 and 2 number 3 plates. Oops, I'm scooting all over. Sorry about the movement. I can't do anything about that unless I put my camera on something else. I should have done that. Okay, too late now. All right, we're done with it. So we'll move this aside. Okay, now let me bring my pad back in here. Just cuts down on the glare. Okay, and all my pieces. All right, now I am going to set those aside for now. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back of this and adhere it to the front of my card. Just like so, making sure that it is going the right direction. And I should have a 1/4 inch margin around here. Or actually it's 1/8 of an inch, I guess. So, all right, we're off to a good start. Okay, now I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4, no, 5 1/2. How about 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 of the fresh freesia, and that's going to be my card base. And then I have a piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/4 by 4. So it's just a little bit smaller, that 1/4 inch smaller. And I'm just going to attach that just like that. And hopefully straight. That's what I love about that green glue. It lets me move it if I need to. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over here to this piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold it. So I'm going to attach I'm going to put, let's use tear and tape. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape right along here, which is the smallest little, and this is on the front, so it would be right there, and one on here. Okay, then I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to fold this over, so this is going to go under, and you're going to fold it on the that second crease line right here. Okay, I know a little bit of that shows on the front. If you don't like that, add a butterfly. That'll take care of it. Or another flower, a little flower up there would be fine. Do the same thing on the other side. Fold this under, fold it at the second fold, and this one will be covered by the flowers. And so now I've created these 2 little boxes on the ends of it. So see, this one will cover with the flowers. That one's bigger than the last one. So depending upon where you position your die, if you used an oval die, you wouldn't have that problem as long as you stayed between these 2, or a circle or even a rectangle die. So those would, if you don't like seeing this, and I think I will put a butterfly on that one in the end. Okay, so let's go back over here. So now I have these 2 boxes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some adhesive on the part that's sticking up when I make a box out of it on both sides here. And then I'm going to flatten it back. I want it to flatten backwards, back towards the center. And I'm going to attach it to this piece with this fold, even with this background, okay, with my base piece. So I'm just going to go, whoops, there we go. Just like that. And this is the area that has the glue in here. So that's where you want to press to get it to adhere. So if you're doing tear and tape, the same thing. Okay, now, oh good, I didn't mess it up. The other end I put glue on already. And I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to fold it back so that the edge is where the DSP is. But I'm going to push this one forward, and it's going to lay just perfectly down there. Just like that. And now we have created our card. So simple, and you don't have to worry about getting them in the right place. When the card folds down, it will go flat. When you put it in the envelope, it'll be flat. Okay, so the next thing that I did is I stamped, I wonder where I lost my paper. Here it is, my scrap. So I have a scrap here, and I stamped the flower image in Tuxedo Black. So this is a good size image, and it doesn't always ink super well for me. So I'm going to go ink to stamp, and then that way I know I'll get a good impression. There we are, beautiful. Okay, so then I colored this with Soft Succulent. This is one of our new skin tone pens. So I have numbered it 800 because that's what it says on the pen. It says SU 800. So that was the one I used for the center. I colored with So Saffron and with Fresh Freesia. And this is how it came out, just like that. So I love the way it came out. It's so soft. So I'm going to attach that right here on the left-hand side. And I attached it flat. I didn't use any dimensionals. I figured this has enough dimension. So I'm just going to stick that right there with some glue. And remember, when you fold this down, it's going to go even. So you want to go even here, but you want to make sure you don't glue on this side, on the left side of the right side of the flower. I'll get it. You want to make sure there's no glue on that section because you don't want it to stick in here when you put it down. Okay, so then I had the little tag that I cut and I stamped the thank you on it, and it came out so sweet. I love the way it came out. And so that I attached with dimensionals. So let's grab a couple dimensionals here. And just, oh, we want to watch where we put those too. I think I used a mini. That's where they come in super handy when you have something this little. And I think I used the mini on the left. So let's see which way. Yep. And I'm going to stick it right here on my flower. And then that way I don't have to worry about where it's going to land. And the one on the right is okay. And so I'm just going to attach that right across here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon and just tie a little bow here. And if you struggle with bow tying, there is a video on my blog about bow tying. I'll try to remember to link it to this. Bow tying is really simple once you've done enough of it. But if you struggle with it, there's a video on there to show you how to tie a bow. And this is super simple. It's a really easy way. Okay, so I'm going to attach that with a glue dot. Right there. And that is it. Very simple, and it's a very sweet one. Now, if you had a gift card you wanted to tuck in here, trying to think, Nora asked me about a gift card. Or if you wanted to write a greeting, you could do it here. A gift card, I bet you could create a pocket out of your DSP here, and then take a little punch right there, and a little circle punch, and punch it down a little bit, and you'd have a pocket down in here that you could slip a gift card in. Where else could you put a gift card? You can't close up the bottom because if you close the bottom, then it'll be a permanent box. So this is not really a super good one for a gift card. You could put a gift card in here. You could put a piece of basic white on the back of it, and then just take a punch and punch that little half circle at the top. Slip your gift card in there and write your little message on the back. Your thank you or your happy birthday probably. So thank you for joining me today. Remember that tomorrow starts a big sale at Stampin' Up! You will find that information at stampwithdeb.com. You'll find the instructions for this also at stampwithdeb.com. And this is my host code for this month. I will close that out at the end of the month, but you can go ahead and place your order, and your order will ship to you. You don't have to wait for everybody else to order. So thank you for